All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Home Studio Simplified channel. This is your first time here. Glad to have you. Glad you're here. If you are a repeat offender, I'm also glad that you're here. You guys rock. It's what makes this fun. So today we're going to be talking about your song submissions for the July edition of the HSS Song Contest. And I've got a little bit of work ahead of me. As of today, we have 38 submissions. This is up by 27 from the last. So last time we had 11 submissions. This time we have 38. Now, granted, I did allow more than one upload, which, as we do these things, the more that we do them, the more I learn. And I think one submission should be enough. It was kind of overkill, but, I allowed for it, and that's where we're going. So we're going to go ahead and roll with it. Now, in lieu of that, I do want to make you aware of the fact that the actual judging of all of this will take place tentatively on the 23rd. So mark your calendars for that. Hey, Alexi, looks like one of the judges is actually in the chat now. So Alexi Solival of Music is here. And he's going to be one of the judges, which we've already discussed. So tentatively, it is going to be on the 23rd, which if I'm looking at my calendar right now, that is next Thursday. We're going to be holding the live stream where we'll have all of the individuals on there that we'll be judging. We're going to get them all on there. The way that we're going to do this is we're going to pick, at least the way that I've had them do this, is I said, okay, just listen to all of the submissions, pick the one that jumps out at you, that grabs your attention, that's the one that you feel like, yes, that's the one that, to me as a judge, I would feel like it's the winner. And then what we're going to do is, without telling one another what our decisions are, we're then going to take it a step farther and say, okay, now that we have the decisions, if we have one that was picked like twice and 3 times and everyone kind of like leaned towards that one, then unanimously that one will be, or not unanimously, but that one will be the winner by default. In other words, it's been the most picked, so majority will rule on that. Now, if we all pick a different one, then we'll take a different route and we'll all listen, and basically we'll just draw a name from the hat to make it kind of fair for everybody, because we all have different tastes anyway. It wouldn't be fair to say one was the supreme winner. Now, if we all pick like the same one, which is possible too, obviously that one is the winner. So that's how we're going to kind of do that. We're still learning as we go. I want to continue to do these because I love the feedback that everyone is giving and the feedback that everyone is getting in return. And also, I want to make mention of the fact that it's just really cool to see other channels come on here, just come on board and come up alongside and get involved in this. So it's super cool. Thank you all for being involved. You're all just awesome. So, by the way, if you have not already subscribed to Alexi's channel, definitely go and do that. He's got some great stuff on there. You're going to want to check him out, especially if you're into the metal area of music. He's got some great stuff. Not to mention, he's just a super nice guy. What better reason to do that? So for those of you who are, maybe it's your first time here, so glad to have you. I just want to let you know that the purpose of this channel is to simplify the complexities of the home studio and to help you make professional sounding music in a less than professional space. The motto around here is that we can dream alone and we can create alone, but together we can achieve so much more. And that's what all of this is about, is creating this community of like-minded individuals who love audio, who love music, who want to help get their music sounding better. And it doesn't just have to be for me either. There's individuals within this community who are able to also point you in the right direction as far as what you need to do. So am I saying that I'm the only source? Absolutely not. I feel like I'm more or less, like here lately, I'm definitely an authoritative source on certain subjects, but when it comes to this, I feel like I'm more just kind of like the conduit that's helping individuals find networking and different venues in which they can express themselves creatively. So I'm perfectly fine with that as well. Let's give a big round of applause to our chart toppers. These are individuals who have supported the channel in one way, shape, or form, whether it be through the means of the super chats that they have donated, which you'll see on the left-hand side. That's the amount of super chat money that they have given. And on the right-hand side there, you'll see that there is a Patreon symbol. Those are my Patreon members. If you are not a Patreon, I would definitely ask that you would go and consider doing that. You can support me for as little as $1 a month, or you can support me for $100 a month. And at each tier that you support me indifferently, you will unlock different things within the Patreon community. And I also do things over there that I don't do here on the channel, such as here lately I did a studio tour, and I'm going to actually start releasing a little bit more behind the scenes stuff over there too, a little bit more personal stuff. If you're interested in something like that, go and check that out. For $1 a month, less than what you would pay for a cup of coffee over at the gas station, you'll be able to get access to some really cool stuff, and you'll be involved in a even closer knit community there. So, all right, so what are we talking about today? We are talking about the HSS Song Contest. Now, the deadline was the 15th. We've got all of our submissions. Thank you, everybody who has submitted. And so today, what are we going to do? We're going to actually look at each and every one of these songs. Now, I did not place it upon the shoulders of the judges to listen to each and every song and give a mixed critique. That would have been way too taxing on them. However, because this is something that I'm hosting and a service that I feel like I'm providing, I am going to go through every single song today and give you a critique on that. So pull your lawn chairs up, get your full pot of coffee going. If you have to leave the stream at any given time, I understand. This is going to be this is going to be quite an endeavor. So it's good to see all of you in the chat, by the way. Mark George is here. Appreciate your submission, Mark. The poem that you sent in was absolutely awesome. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, there's actually a way to celebrate with the channel. We're going to be having our, actually I can probably even nail down a date on that right now. So if that will take 50%. Okay. So August 1st, we are going to be having our 5,000 subscriber giveaway. We're also going to be having our 5,000 subscriber live stream. So we're going to get on here and have a little party and celebrate the fact that I reached 5,000. Now, granted, I've already crossed that threshold now, but I have a song contest going on, and I want to make sure that that goes over seamlessly, that I don't put too much on everybody involved. And I want to also be able to prepare even more for this 5,000K stream, because I've still got people sending in submissions. So if you don't know what I'm talking about as far as submissions, if you want to send in an audio or a video submission, it doesn't have to be professionally produced or nothing crazy like that. Just a quick little something that says, what you feel like this channel is about. I would greatly appreciate if you would do that. I have it here posted on the Instagram account. You can also access that through the Facebook page. You can access that through, I believe I posted it in the YouTube community tab, letting you guys know. It's basically just a quick video or audio piece that describes what you think about the channel. And if you have a channel of your own, be sure to mention that also. Either include a link in the description, or include a link rather in the video, like show your channel name or something like that. Just give yourself a plug. That way it's a win-win for everybody. And just email me those submissions to homestudiosimplified@gmail.com. I've got 10 submissions already from some awesome people who have reached out and literally have poured their heart out in some of these, and super, super cool. And I know that this will take a little bit of time, but it doesn't have to, like I said, it doesn't have to be like huge. I mean, some people have just recorded it on their phone and sent it over. That's completely fine. I'm not looking for a professional production. I'm just looking for something that I can kind of share with the 5,000K celebration. And every once in a while, I'm going to use those for sort of like an intermission to kind of people that may be watching for the first time or something like that. They'll be able to hop on and be like, oh, wow, there's some people that have some nice stuff to say about this. Not to mention, it's just going to be a good shot in the arm for me, because a lot of times, until I really started doing the live streams, I had no idea who was really paying attention to what I was doing. And now here lately, it seems as if when I'm doing the live streams, I'm actually getting some instant feedback, which is awesome, because when you put out content like this all the time and you never get any feedback, you kind of begin to wonder, like, why am I even doing this? Is anybody even listening to me? Am I just, shooting this stuff off in the air? Of course, according to my comment section here on YouTube lately, that's definitely not the case. You guys have been awesome too, leaving some great comments. So, but yeah, if you would like to leave a quick submission, it doesn't have to be anything fancy, just an audio or a video snippet of you saying, hey, this is so-and-so from this channel. Really appreciate what you're doing, or whatever, congratulations on your 5K. This is what I read, this is what I like. So, okay. Got a little Dr. Pepper here until my coffee cools down. I don't feel like burning my mouth off. All right, guys, let's dive straight into these song submissions, because this is going to take a while. If you have any kind of anything that you want to ask during this, please feel free to do so. Hey, Micah, good to see you, buddy. And we will go ahead and begin. By the way, if you have not checked out this SoundCloud account, this is my SoundCloud account that I use just for the channel, and just for, at least as of right now, just for these contests. So I have the last contest that we did. That playlist is on here as well. So you can go back and listen to those submissions from the last contest, or you can listen to the new one here. I also have these on my website, which if we check that out real quick, you can, that's not it. Yeah. So if you scroll down here, you'll see I have all of this embedded on my website as well. And then I have the links to each one of the judges. So if you want to go and check their channels out, definitely do that as well. So there's a couple of different places you can listen to these songs if you want to get a feel for them, or if you just want to go back and listen, there's something maybe you liked, go and check that out there, or you can check it out here on SoundCloud, this particular page. And if you were not aware, and you would be ever so kind, I'm actually have started up, believe it or not, another YouTube channel. It's been up now for a while. I just haven't really publicized it because it's not anything really too fancy or nothing like that. But I do have another YouTube channel under this name, Mockingbird Studio, where I'm literally just posting music. There's no like tutorial videos or nothing like that. It's just music submissions. So if you would like to create a video for your music and you want me to post that on that channel, feel free to send that over too. All right. And I will try and find, if I can, a link to that so you guys can go and check that out as well. And it looks like it popped up right here. There we go. Oh, awesome. So as of today, I have a whopping 1 subscriber on that, which is fine. I wasn't, like I said, I'm not really publicizing it. It's just a secondary channel for me to create some music and drop it down on there. And not to mention, I'm creating a lot of stuff that I'm using personally for prayer, for music, for study music, or for just relaxation. And I've got a lot of cool artists already represented there too. But yeah, if you guys want to go and check that out, I just posted a link in the chat. You can go and subscribe if you'd like. And then whenever I upload new music to that, you can check that out there. All right, let's go ahead and dive into these mixes that we've got here. And the first one is by Carol Wright. And thanks, Keith. I appreciate it, buddy. This song is called He's All I Need. Okay, hold on. Before we even get into this, I want to make sure that you guys can hear this, that I'm not just... So let me know in the chat real quick if you could actually hear that music there. I don't want to get halfway through the song and be like, these are my critiques. And you guys are like, critiques on what? I didn't hear nothing. So just let me know real quick in the chat if you were able to hear this. Awesome. Thanks, Keith. Appreciate it. Thank you, Micah. Okay, let's take this.
When I am mad, what makes me happy? Oh, I tell them Jesus, He's all I need. He's my whole life. In Him I trust, in Him I believe. Oh, yes, I believe. He fills me up to overflowing. My joy and peace is overwhelming. He is my comfort, oh, He is my strength. He's all I need. He's all I need. He's my provider, my Jehovah Jireh. He's God Almighty, my El Shaddai. He's my Messiah, Prince of Peace. He's all I need. He's all I need. He's my Abba Father, my King in glory. He's my Redeemer, author of my story. He's my forever, hallelujah and amen. He's all I need. He's all I need. He's all I need. He's all I need. He's the beginning. He's never ending. He has all power. He is full of glory. He is eternal. He is everlasting. He's all I need. He's all I need. He's my provider, Jehovah Jireh. He's God Almighty, El Shaddai. He's my Messiah, Prince of Peace. He's all I need. He's all I need. He is my Father. He is my Father. Oh, my King in glory. Yeah. He's my Redeemer. He's my Redeemer. He's my hallelujah. Shout hallelujah. He's my provider, my Jehovah Jireh. He's God Almighty, my El Shaddai. He's my Messiah. He's Prince of Peace. He's all I need. He's all I need. Whoa, whoa, yeah. Whoa, whoa, whoa. He's all I need. He's all I need. He's all I need. He's all I need.
All right. That was really big improvement, Carol, from the previous submission that you had given. There's several people in the chat that have pretty much echoed my sentiments. It sounds very friendly. It sounds very upbeat. I love the fact that it's got a sax in there. Love the sound of a sax. So just some quick critiques for this one. The bass just seems to be buried in the mix just a little bit. I think there was maybe some more EQ work, maybe some parallel compression that could have helped to bring that bass out a little bit more. And because of the style of the song, with it being sort of a gospel-driven song, bass guitar is very, very predominant in gospel music, and it kind of needs to be a little bit more upfront. Also, the wah sounds, as much as I loved it, it sounded just a little bit off, almost like it was maybe had some phase problems. Now I realize that wah in and of itself is sort of a phase problem. It's the effect you're going for, but this in and of itself, it sounded very, it just sounded as if it was kind of textured differently than what it should be, if that makes any sense. But yeah, other than that, the harmonies were great. I loved the harmonies. The last time I know that you had included some harmonies in your previous submission, and they were good, But this one, seemed like they were really on par. Like you would really spend a lot of time with that. So that really sounded good. And then lastly, on that saxophone, I think if it would have been EQ'd just a little bit differently and maybe had some reverb added to it, it maybe would have set in the mix a little bit better. But other than that, that's really all I got to add to that one. Great submission. Thank you, Carol Wright. He's All I Need. Now let's go on to Mark George's song, which I've got a little bit of a backstory for this. When Mark sent this over, I could tell like he was kind of, he was withholding just a little bit, which is fine. I understand. I think he was a little bit on the scared side to release anything, but I think the more that he's seen, that he's not going to get crucified in the comments here, that he was like, maybe I should go ahead. And I'm so glad that you did, Mark, because this song is really, really cool. We were listening to this in the car. I had not told my wife what the name of this song was or who had wrote it or anything like that. And as we're driving, I'm listening to some of these song submissions. And she said, this sounds like a song like if you were going to hop in a spaceship and go into outer space. And I said, that's really ironic that you would say that because the name of the song is Planets. So let's take a listen to Mark's song, Planets Part 2. Man alive. Yeah, that was cool. Thank you so much, Mark, for putting that out there. That was just, hey, Sam Kanak is in here. What is up, buddy? Hey, how did you know I got a haircut? Oh, man. Must be following my Facebook. Yeah, I did, actually. My wife cut my hair just a minute ago, well, right before the stream. Congratulations, Mark, though. That song, man. Good night. I do have just about a few things that I want to add to it, which that's what this whole thing is about. And I want to make mention, too, that when I'm critiquing these songs, not that I think that you're going to take this wrong, Mark, but if I say something, all I'm trying to do is help. That's all I want to do. So don't take anything like that I say as like, I think that your song is bad, or I think that you're bad at what you do. It's all just about us trying to get better. So I want to kind of set that precedent too, that I'm not trying to degrade anybody or anything like that. What we're trying to do is just help one another, and feedback is sometimes the greatest teacher. About this song in particular, though, there's really not a lot that I can say about it. I mean, it's really well balanced. I love the balance of it. I think the only thing that it was missing maybe is there was a lacking bass element, especially with the synths. I was expecting more like of a rumbly bass, either like a lead line to kind of ride it out, or for the synths themselves to have a little bit more lower end, because it was predominantly in the upper registers, like the mid highs and the highs. I also was expecting there at about 219 in this song, I was expecting there to be like a drop, and almost like this, I was like hearing it in my head, but it didn't happen. So I was but that's just me too. But at about 219, everything does kind of drop, but I was expecting like a complete fallout, like drop of everything, and then like an ambient pad to lead it back into the build. But other than that, there was a drop there though. So that was really cool. Hey, Tone Mangler, what's up? Then the only other thing that I would add to that, so the lack of the drop, which that's really just stylistically, that's just an opinion of mine. That's not really a reflection on the mix. It's more an arrangement thing. But then the painting of the elements, I think they could have been a little bit more LCR, in other words, left, right, and center, just to kind of open up the stereo field. I do realize that when you're recording with synths and things like that, though, most of those instruments are already stereo instruments. But there are things you can do to sort of open that up just a little bit. But other than that, man, that song, it takes you on a journey, and it evokes, like I wrote in the chat, it evokes so much emotion. I love it. When a song can make you feel something emotionally, to me, that's like awesome. You have nailed it. So great job, Mark. Please do not ever be afraid again of submitting something, because that was absolutely well worth it. Now, the next one is by Michael McNamara. I hope I don't butcher these names, guys. Michael McNamara. That's even harder than McClellan. McNamara. This song is called When You Lead With Your Heart.
It's so easy to get caught in the everyday noise, and your voice can get lost in the crowd.
Trying to turn this up a little.
Just remember, your life is the song of your soul. No one sings it as well or as loud. When you lead with your heart, then you don't sing alone, and you raise other voices with you. You don't have to be sure, you don't have to be strong. There's an orchestra playing with you. How the kindest of words always fall from your mouth, and your smile lights the stage every night. How you bring out the best in yourself and your friends. There's a glow from such a beautiful
There's an orchestra playing with you.
Wow. Really, really cool song. Um, and I have to say too, like the voice, the vocals on that are very, very unique. I love the sound of your vocals. Um, to some, it might actually sound like, you know, like bad, but to me, honestly, I loved the sound of them. And it wasn't that they were necessarily like perfectly in tune or in pitch or anything like that, but it was the fact that they were real and just authentic. And obviously you can sing because you just held a note there for like ever that was like perfectly, I mean, it was great. I love the fact too, like Mark just said in the chat, that it was so simple, just a piano and a vocal, which really it seemed like that was all that song needed. It reminded me so often of some of the older songs that I gravitate to and love. So some things that I had pointed out in that one, there was just a little bit of a volume issue. And I think really it was just dynamics. Maybe there wasn't a lot of compression or limiting being used to get it up to industry standards or whatever. But in and of itself, the song, it did not affect the song so much. I mean, I just turned it up and enjoyed it. It could have used a pop filter. There was a couple of times where I might have heard like some mic rumble or mic noise where it seemed as if like the mouth had actually touched the mic, which lets me know that you were not practicing social distancing from the microphone. And a good way to do that, even if you don't need a pop filter, is to put a pop filter there, which kind of like backs you away from the mic purposely. It's a little bit different with this microphone. This is a broadcast mic. It has a built-in pop filter, so I can get right up on it and try to get that proximity effect if I want. But with most microphones, you want to put a pop filter on there regardless, even if you don't think that you need it. So other than that, the piano could have been brought a little bit more up front, which I think if some compression would have been used and maybe even some limiting would have been used, I think it would have even taken care of that. But the song itself, excellent, excellent song. I love the meaning behind it, the words, the lyrics, and the vocals. Like I said, I just love that true, authentic, unique voice. Very, very good job. Now let's listen to Steve Loxley. He's submitted a song called Linger.
Solace coming.
Very, very cool submission again. Very synth heavy. I loved it. I haven't heard music quite like that in a while now. So very, very unique as well. The only things that I have to definitely pick out in this one is just the fact that, and maybe this was the stylistic approach that you were looking for, Steve, but the vocals were just a little bit buried. I could have, if they would have set on top just a tad more, I think it would have really sold the song even more. Also, yet again, with this being very synth heavy, I was expecting there to be a little bit more bass involved in it, and there was a lack of bass in the mix. And then lastly, much like Mark George's synth track, it was missing just a little bit of a panning. I was expecting just a little bit more happening in the stereo field, but other than that, song was an excellent addition to the song contest. And my hat's off to you guys who are using these synths, because it's not easy to make all of that. Usually synths have like a lot of busyness going on, and to make all that busyness set well together and play well together and sound as cool as it does, hats off to you guys, man. You guys are wow. All right, so let's listen to the next song. This is by Darren Patrick, and the song is called Weeping Willow. Wow. Very folky, very, just yet again, evokes so much emotion. I can tell immediately from the look of the waveform here within SoundCloud that this has been attempted to have been mastered. And if it's not been, then there's a lack of dynamics, especially in a folk song. There should be a lot more dynamics there. So here's some things that I found from this. Apart from just that, first off, I have to say I love that song. Absolutely love that song. I could listen to that over and over and over again. It tells a story. It takes you along the journey. It makes you feel like you're there. I love that. So some things that I'm going to point out is, first, it looks like there's a lack of dynamics according to the waveform and just listening to it. The vocals seem to be buried, and I think that's due to either too much reverb on the vocals or there's a doubler that's been enabled on the vocals because they sounded just a little bit off. The vocals also could have used some EQ. That was one of the main sort of stars of the show, and I feel like it was lacking where it could have really shined. And I think if the vocals would have been where they needed to be, everything else, the other critiques that I have, probably would have just been shoved under the rug. But it sounded as if, yet again, and this is sort of a reoccurring thing that I keep seeing, that there were some widening plugins that were being used because there was a lack of bass. I heard no kick drum. In fact, I didn't hear the drums hardly at all. They just seemed very buried. I didn't even know that there were really any drums even playing until I heard the crash of the cymbal. And when I heard that, I thought, wow, I don't hear a snare. And I realized that like some folk music doesn't necessarily need that. Like they play with, brushes, or they play with cajones or things like that. Sometimes they don't have any at all. But I think if I would have heard the drums a little more, I would have felt that upbeat. It would have almost made me want to dance underneath that weeping willow. So I love the mandolin. I loved the mandolin. In fact, it sounded like the most well-balanced instrument in the whole mix. When it came in, I was like, wow, that sounds like a really well-recorded mandolin. So yes, there are some things that could be improved. The song in and of itself is an excellent song though. And I think with a little bit of help, man, I could hear that on the radio all day long. I could hear that, that would be a great piece for a commercial. That would be a great piece for some kind of a show or something. I don't know. I can just, it's got a lot of potential. So Mr. Darren Patrick, he also uploaded a second one, and this one is called Found, and it says original. So I don't know if that means it's an original that he did or it's the original recording. Sometimes it's kind of tricky when you get tracks in like this. And sometimes it's also kind of funny because you'll see like best mix version 742 revision 3, and you're like, oh my goodness. It makes you feel good though, because you realize you're not the only one that does it. So all right, so let's listen to Darren Patrick's song called Found.
You've got a sacred heart, but you don't know how to use it. Always letting strangers take it and abuse it. So used to getting hurt now, it doesn't faze you. But you get kicked to the dirt, and doesn't it amaze you? The things people do to feel loved. Without someone, they don't feel good enough. Don't go searching, you're supposed to be found by the right one. But you just want someone now to pick up the pieces of your heart on the ground. But you'll forget all of them when you're found. You have to love yourself before anyone else can, and wait for the moment when you least expect it, to get swept off of your feet and feel something magical. But you're so used to tragedy, your heart is entangled. Things people do to feel love. You're so close to giving up. Don't go searching, you're supposed to be found by the right one. But you just want someone now when nobody else worked out, and they'll pick up the pieces of your heart on the ground, but you'll forget all of them when you're found.
Wow. Definitely much better than the Weeping Willow song as far as balance and just the way that it was presented. The vocalist, I need to know who that female vocalist is because she's absolutely amazing. She's got such an awesome voice. I could listen to her all day long. So just a few things with this one here. It also looks as if it's lacking dynamics, and that's, yet again, that's maybe because it was in an attempt to master it, or it's just a heavy mix. But at any rate, it's another folky sounding song. I was expecting there to be more dynamics in there. Also, the drums, there needs to be some EQ done to the drums. When the crash hit, it just did not sound quite right. Now, granted, some of this is due to the fact that, as someone brought up in the chat, that SoundCloud degrades the music. So it's going to have some inconsistencies. So the high quality streaming is currently available only to SoundCloud Go Plus subscribers only, which I am not. And that puts their quality streaming format at 256 kpbs, which is equivalent to an MP3 encoded at 320, which is equivalent to the insane setting on Audacity, which is pretty good. That's actually what I'm streaming my audio in here now. So with that being said, when it comes to people who are not Go subscribers, I can't find anywhere in here where it really gives you an update as to what it's, I want to say, I think it's like 128, which isn't the greatest, but for what it's worth, we're at least getting to hear the song. So I can't make too many critical decisions based off of the EQ, knowing that most of this is being degraded. So thankful to see everybody helping one another out and commenting in the chat. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much for that. If you're still here and you have not liked the video, go ahead and give it a like. That just lets YouTube know that we're doing something worthwhile over here. All right, we're going to go ahead and listen to Audio Surgeon's Quantum. Wow. There's really not much I can say about that one. For it being an instrumental piece, it held my attention, which was cool. I could definitely see that being used for some kind of film, something. I was picturing maybe someone driving on a dark road, pulling into some place, and I don't know. Yet again, if it evoked emotion, it was good. The only thing that I could honestly add to it is the fact that I felt like there were some elements that was lacking reverb just to help them to set in a space. It just seemed a little dry and sterile in some areas. I absolutely loved that lead line where it was doing the do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do, and I was expecting it. It started kind of over here, and I was like, please let it go to the right side. And as soon as it started to transition, I was like, yes. Yeah. Hats off to you, Audio Surgeon. That was absolutely cool. Very cool. Next up, we got Dave Upton and Fear of Flying. And my coffee has cooled down, and I'm drinking it.
Don't know if the last death knell has sounded. I don't know if the pain will soon be gone. All I know is the last train has departed. All I know is I'm now the only one. this fear of flying. I've got this fear of flying now. It seems like now I'm the only bone collector. Seems like now I've been tied and duty bound. Heaven help the ever-present spectre. Heaven help all those going underground. I got this fear of flying. I got this fear of flying now. Keep on thinking it's just for your eyes only. Keep on thinking that I'll die another day. Sacrifice will never make you lonely. Sacrifice is the only price to pay. I've got this fear of flying. I've got this fear of flying now. I've got this fear of flying lately. I've got this fear of flying now.
Wow, very, very cool. I love the vocal effect that's going on there, and the key changes are just wow. Studio Dude 1, nice to have you here, buddy. I think this is the first time I've seen you here. He's asking, what does one do to submit a song for review? Well, there's a couple of different ways that you can do that. We do have and have been having song contests monthly. This is the July edition. Hey, Jurgen, good to have you here, buddy. This is the July edition of the song contest. And so everybody that submits will get a review. And we're actually doing something a little bit more special this time around. We're having judges that are actually going to pick the winner too. Also, there is the Wheel of Awesomeness, which you've not been introduced to as of yet. There is a slot on the Wheel of Awesomeness that will allow you to win a free mix critique, where I will actually record a short video to your song and send it to you personally. So there's a couple different ways you can do that. Now, if you would just like to send me the song for review just randomly, you can also do that through my email at homestudiosimplified@gmail.com. Maybe if you don't want others to know what the critique is. I know some people, it's kind of hard for them to bury themselves and put it out there, especially if they think that someone's going to, say something bad about their mix or whatever it is, which if you're just jumping on now, you'll know, those of you who have been here for a while, that's not what we do around here. This is definitely a safe space for you if you're a beginner. And my whole passion, the reason why I started all of this to begin with, is as a beginner, I didn't have anyone to help me along. And so I'm trying to fill in that gap, kind of be that mentor that I never had. And also what I noticed is when I would hop on certain forums, and you all know where I'm going with this, you ask a simple question and you're new to this, you don't know, but so you ask an honest question and then they cut you down and make fun of you and all kinds of stupidity. You're not going to find that here. So, yeah, hope that answers your question. Tone Mangler is over there munching on some leftover pizza. And Mark is wondering, and myself too, like, what is leftover pizza? Because we never have that. I usually just eat it all in one setting. So, okay, so we have another one here by Dave Upton, and this one is called I Wouldn't Care. So let's take a listen to this. Oh, I got to give a brief mix critique. Hello. On this song. I got sidetracked. Sorry. So for the Fear of Flying song, I loved the vocal harmonies, but I felt as if there was like some ducking that was going on. I'm not sure what was happening there. It seemed like when the vocals came in, the rest of the music kind of like dipped down. And then as soon as the vocals quit, it dipped back up, almost as if the entire mix was side chained to the vocals, which is, I mean, that's feasible. You can do that, but it just sounded a little bit too much. Like it wasn't transparent enough if that's what you were doing. As far as harmonies, I know we were kind of bouncing ideas back and forth in the chat of whether it was a vocoder or whether it was harmonies, or it sounded to my ears like it was actual harmonies. And if that's the case, man, dude, you were spot on. So, but it also could have been like a Melodyne thing, or even Kleinhelm, I think is the name of it. I've got a copy of it. I use it very rarely, but it creates awesome melodies. And I need to do a review on that, come to think of it. But anyway, other than that, the bass, I didn't hear a lot of bass in there. It was lacking as far as like bass guitar. But the song itself, that's super cool, man. It really has a cool vibe to it. So let's listen to his next submission. This one is called I Wouldn't Care.
I wouldn't care if all of the birds went away or stopped singing. I wouldn't care if all of the bells in the world had stopped ringing. Solving the problems and talking out loud. None of this matters if we can be together, baby. I wouldn't really care if it all ended here. That's the story I tell myself. Well, I wouldn't care if all of those clouds stop the sun from its shining. Lost and all alone in this cold, cruel world. Testing myself to hold it all together, baby. Searching for the signals, that one elusive word. One thing that I want tonight. I wouldn't care, but then I lied to myself. This world has no meaning without you here. Well, I wouldn't care if this old sad world fell apart and stopped turning. I wouldn't care if migrating birds stayed away, not returning. Sorting the answers and finding out the truth. None of this matters if we can be together, baby. I wouldn't really care if that is all there is. That's the story I tell myself. Well, I wouldn't care if all my life I could never stop learning. Lost and all alone in this cold, cruel world. Testing myself to hold it all that one elusive word, one thing that I want tonight. I wouldn't care, but then lied to myself. This world has no meaning without you here.
All right. So that was definitely a very different song from the previous one that we heard. The previous one was very dark and dismal, had a lot of cool vibe to it. This one was like, it was already mentioned in the chat, but I was thinking it sounded very Michael Bublé sounding. I wouldn't go as far as to say Sinatra sounding. Loved the jazz. I'm a sucker for jazz music, and the jazz was like spot on. Loved it. So some things that I could definitely point out here. There was just a little bit too much compression on the vocals. It seemed as if they were just being squashed and all the life was being drained from them. And maybe that was, maybe that's the, stylistically, that's the approach you were going for because you wanted to get that upfront sound. But I think if it would have been done a little bit more transparently, you still could have achieved the same results without having that almost overly done sound to it. And along those same lines, they were very upfront, but they actually needed to be, at least in my opinion, nestled around or in the middle of those instruments a little bit better. And then lastly, the transition from the break where it kind of broke and then there was like that, like the jazz does. When it went back into that last series of verses, it was just kind of choppy. It just needed like a little bit more of a lead in. And I think what made it sound choppy was just the fact that that vocal was just so upfront and present that as soon as it came back in, you were kind of like going on this like jazzy journey where jazz is kind of more subdued and everything. And then it's like, boom, I wouldn't care. And I was like, whoa. Very cool song though. Very, very cool song. I'm finding that with all of these songs that I'm reviewing though, generally speaking, there's only like a few things that if it was changed would make them incredible songs. So it's not like, everyone who's submitted, thus far, you're like right there. There's just a few things that you need to do. So that was I Wouldn't Care. It looks like Dave Upton uploaded another one called Shine. Let's check out this one. 12 string, like it.
Everybody's searching for their lives. All I ever got was compromise. Never had an honest answer. That's the way it goes. Always been the sad romancer, stepping on their toes. Oh, darling, shine. Shine your eyes on mine. And let your love run down. Let your love run down. Let your love run down on me. All my life I wanted to be free. Seems that it's the only way to be. Now I guess I'm getting older. Happens to us all. Now I guess I need a shoulder, head against the wall. Oh, darling, shine. Shine your eyes on mine. And let your love tell me when I've no place to stay. All the world can fly on by me, I no longer care. You alone will not deny me, you are always there. Oh darling, shine your eyes on mine, and let your love run down, let your love run down, let your love run down on me.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, Dave Upton's Shine. That was really cool. What I'm noticing here is there is no limit to this guy's voice. He starts out with like this incredible harmony thing going on, this like lower register with these crazy chord changes, and then he goes into like this Michael Bublé thing, and now he's going for like this Simon and Garfunkel type sound almost. This guy's got an awesome voice, evidently. The couple of things that I'm going to pick out is, for one, you have a wide vocal range. And every song, just as Mark just said, every song has a different vibe. It's crazy. The chorus vocals, when they came in, they seem to be subdued a bit, or they need to be subdued a bit. When the chorus came in for the Shine, and I noticed the left and right stereo field sort of filled up with those extra vocals, it was just a bit too much. It kind of like overpowered everything. And then the drums, yet again, seems like sort of a continuing thing that goes on with these, is the drums are buried again. And there was a lot of percussive elements that I could hear, but I had to strain to hear, that would have really helped to sell the mix. But other than that, really, really cool song. I love your voice and the things that you're doing with, I mean, it sounds like to me, you're much like myself, your iPod or wherever you listen to your music, it probably has some kind of crazy playlist on it like mine does. The first time my wife ever got in my car when we were dating, and we went from Seymour to Columbus, only a 30-minute drive. And I remember we were just getting out of the car, and she looks at me and she's like, I have heard everything from bluegrass to Southern gospel to rap to pop to rocky sounding stuff. She was like, what do you like? And I was like, I like it all. So, yeah, big fan, man. Like your stuff. Keep it up. As far as some of the questions that were asked, Jurgen says, is this LCR mixed? Rob, can you say stereo width? Can you say STHWRT? I'm not sure what that means. It definitely does sound LCR mixed. I definitely heard information going on at different times that seemed as if it was hard panned. So, something with respect. Yeah. And then there were other times too, where yet again, it seemed as if I keep hearing this. It sounds as if there's widening plugins being used again. And I think when every time I hear one of these and there's a lack of bass, and it sounds like almost plasticky wide, like there's wide where it's done with arrangement and panning, where it's like it's wide and you know it's wide and it sounds wide, but it's still punchy. It's still up in your face. It's still got good phase correlation. But then there's like this plasticky wide where they've used a plug-in to make it sound wider. And then it's just like your bass falls apart, your kick drum gets lost. I don't know. You have taught me something new, Jurgen. Thank you. Something with respect to. I suppose it was a lot easier to write that than to try to type all that out. So, okay, so that was Shine. Let's look at Dave Upton has uploaded another one called The Price We Pay. Let's check this one out. Now, this one's probably going to be rap. I'm just kidding. We'll see, though.
Sometimes when I'm dreaming that this world's a better place, that life has some meaning, that one day we'll win this race, you comfort me, unwrap me in your soul. If I should ever fall and break, you're sure to make me whole. And though life brings its crossroads that question the way to choose, you guide me to the right one and help me find the clues. No matter how far we've traveled, avoiding the ruts in our way, when we get to our journey's end, the bumps are the price that we pay. If it takes a whole lifetime to ride the road we're on, we may never find a reason, 'cause first you blink and then it's gone. But as long as you stand beside me and take me by the hand, I will always stand our ground and get us where we planned. They never said it was easy. No one said it was free. But as long as we do it together, what will be, will be. No matter how far we've traveled, when we get to our journey's end, the bumps are the price that we pay.
All right. Sorry about that. I accidentally switched screens there in the middle of that. Hopefully you didn't lose too much of the wow. So Tone Mangler says another nice song. I hear some ticking in the acoustic. Not sure how to deal with that though. I did hear a little bit of that too. Oop. Okay, that was his next song. Sorry about that. I did hear a little bit of that too. One way that you can deal with that is with a de-esser, believe it or not. You can just find that frequency that's the ticking noise, and it'll just kind of duck it down every time it happens. That's one way to do it, or a multi-band compressor is another way to do it, or even better, a active EQ, something that will, I know some of the the Fab Filter Pro Qs, some of those will do that, where you can set it to a certain threshold within a frequency and it will duck it every time it hears that too. That song in and of itself, simply because it was just an acoustic guitar and a voice, there's not really much that I could add to that other than the fact that just a little bit of those acoustic sounds that we just spoke of. And then I think a little bit of EQ on the voice would have helped it as well to take out some of the lower end register. There's like a little bit of a dynamic EQ or active EQ. But yeah, there was a little bit of like a lower end throatiness, and I do appreciate the smokiness of the voice. I'm not saying anything against it. What I am saying though is I think it would have set better with the acoustic. They would have kind of played better together. So, all right. Next is another one by Dave Upton, and this one is called Don't They Know?
Everybody's running around. Don't they know it's raining in the cities and the towns? Don't they know it's raining? I took some time out for myself to try to get my head straight. Now I guess I'm coming round, and this must be my fate. If they'd known you like I did, then they might feel the same. Got the short straw in this game. Search right through the lost and found. Don't they know it's raining far away from solid ground? Don't they know it's raining? The world goes on like nothing's changed, but my life is crumbling. It seems surreal, I suppose it is. It shouldn't end like this. Friday morning, so unsure. Monday work is at my door. Life goes on, so they say. People seem to cross the street. Don't they know it's raining? Lost for words if we should meet. Don't they know it's raining? Denial first and bargaining too. But I can't do the anger. Feeling lost and missing you. Wish there was an answer. I don't know where I go from here. For so long now my path's been clear. Stop the clock, turn off the light. Don't they know it's raining? The dark's too dark, the light's too bright. Don't they know it's raining?
Nice. Love adding sound effects to music. That's one of my favorite things to do to accentuate a song too. I actually have several songs with sound effects incorporated into them for that reason. So some things I'm going to bring up about this one. And if you'll see me looking down while I'm doing this, I'm actually writing all this stuff down on Post-it notes as it's playing so that I can sort of be a little bit more succinct. But the rain, as much as I loved it being incorporated, I think you could have found maybe a better sample or maybe EQ'd it differently to where it seemed like it was like really high end or like high frequency, sparkly kind of, and then it went into like a lower register. It would have been better to have it kind of blend a little bit. The guitar solo, I absolutely loved it. Could have been a little bit louder though. And there was a lot of low mid build up. So other than that though, The bass sounded a lot better in that song. You could actually, there was a driving bass line. Yet again, there was a lack of drums, but there was a driving bass line. It was very cool. Very cool. So thanks for all of your submissions. Thanks for all of your submissions, Dave. Every one of them, in my opinion, were great songs. I hope that you got something from the minimal amount of critiques that I was able to give to them, but let's listen now to Diz Disley, I'm Walking.
I'm walking, oh yes I'm walking, walking, and I'm shuffling my feet. I'm walking, I'm walking, I'm walking, and I'm shuffling my feet. I'm trying to get into the groove, trying to get into the groove. Oh yeah, I'm walking, and I'm shuffling my feet, and then I'm walking. Oh, I'm walking, oh yes, I'm walking, and oh yes, I'm shuffling my feet. I'm trying to get into the groove, trying to get into the groove. I'm trying to get into the groove. I'm trying to get into the groove. Ooh, she said, shuffling my feet, I'm walking, oh, I'm walking, I'm shuffling my feet, and I'm trying to get in, 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 I'm trying to get in.
Wow, super cool. That was one of those that, yeah, that was one of those that definitely just got you up and moving, and I loved it. I loved it. Just some quick things that I could point out real quickly is the guitar panning. I think if the guitars would have been panned right and left, would have been really cool. The white sound, yet again, sounds like there was a widening plugin being used. Unfortunately, the harmonies, the vocal harmonies could have been tuned just a little bit to kind of accentuate. It seemed like sometimes they were off so much that it was throwing off the lead vocalist. And then yet again, a lack of bass and drums. As far as Tone Mangler, as far as that question is concerned, yes. Yes, you should always check your mix in mono. In fact, I have a 15-step mixing process, which you can download for free. It's in the description of this video. You go through that, it gives you sort of my process. You don't have to follow it to a T, but there is a section in there where I will always fold down the mix into mono to address those issues. And I did a live mix training not too long ago. It's like an hour and 40 minutes where I went from start to finish in a mix and showed you guys exactly what I do in my process. So if you want to go and you want to check that out, you'll see, yet again, I explain more in depth why you would want to mix in mono. If it was coffee, you'd get banned from this channel. You cannot spill the coffee. It must go down the gullet. Anybody who's been around here for even a little bit, you know that I am a coffee connoisseur. Love coffee. Every live stream that we've ever had, pretty much every video we've ever done together, I have a cup of coffee. So you are absolutely correct, Keith. Do not spill the coffee. Okay, so that was Diz Disley. Man, great job. Great submission. Loved the tune. It literally had me like stomping feet and moving, and wow. Very cool. Very cool. Yeah, absolutely. I'll do that during this next song. Actually, I'll put a link in the description or in the chat here so you can go and check that out, Phil. And then you can save that to your, also, if you are not a subscriber, become a subscriber so that you can go and check those out too. I have entire playlists here. So, all right. Diz Disley. That was Diz Disley. Let's check out Evan Wilson's Only Words. Let me make sure I get this back to the beginning. Okay, let's check it out.
Remember when you taught me everything you knew? I guess I taught you some as well. And now you're gone, and I know I'm not alone. But I know
The Mini Pack.
I'm also by myself. We spend our lifetimes together. We face our lifetimes alone. And just as soon as you're living, then you're gone. I wish you'd heard all the songs I wrote for you, and all the ones still trapped inside. All the words left unsaid, all the time unspent, and all the ways to say goodbye. And I'll carry you, and I'll think of you, and I'll still need you. It's always here, I feel it every single day. And I'm not ashamed to say it hurts. I talk out loud, things you'll never hear. But in the end, they're only words.
Awesome submission, Evan. Very Floyd-esque sounding, as has already been mentioned in the chat. A lot of elements of this that many of those who are in the chat have been saying that I too can definitely mirror those sentiments. The drums, I believe, feel like they needed a little bit more space. They were very dry, and the snare drum itself just seemed to be very sterile. I think it just needed a little bit of reverb on that. Stylistically, though, I kind of could see where you were going with this. And so for the other EQ changes that I might have made to guitars and things like that, probably would have left them just the way that you had them, just simply because I could kind of get a feeling for where you were going with that. You wanted that guitar in the background to sound like, have that certain sound. Other than that, there was just a few timing issues that I could hear. But the song itself, it definitely had a vibe to it. Definitely had a good vibe to it. Yeah, kudos to you, man. Hats off. All right, we're going to move on now to Gary Brune, One More Day remix.
Would have danced a little longer, would have held you a little closer, would have stayed until the lights came on and the music was over. I would have smelled every flower, not just the roses. Would have watched every child at play, remembering it was me back in the day. When we think our lives are endless, we forget to just live for today. Thought I was stronger, could do things my way, and I know I'm just a number, one of life's easy prey. Would have realized how much I needed you and just put my pride away. Get down on your knees more often and thank God for one more day. So hug the ones you love a little harder and hold them a little closer. Don't waste a moment. Try not to be angry, question your decisions. But Lord, I'm only human. You created me this way. Friend once told me there was something that you needed to show me. Lessons that needed to be learned by people I love, and the things I need to say. I don't like your way of teaching, and I'm not a good student. Don't know what will come of this, just learned what the human spirit can endure. When all you want to do is stay. Get down on your knees more often to thank God for one more day. So hug the ones you love a little harder and hold them a whole lot closer. Don't take them for granted. Don't waste a moment.
Wow. Wow. Very heartfelt song. Man. Yeah, a lot of emotion in that song too. Definitely took you on an emotional ride. Which yet again, I've said it time and time again, when you can evoke emotion, you have wrote a good song. That was definitely a good song. So the only thing that I really could pick out from that one, the instrumentation was spot on. Excellent piano work, and the strings and just everything just together just melded very well. The reverb on the voice was just a bit much, and I think a de-esser would have helped with the sibilance. And some of that honestly could be caused in part due to the fact that, we got individuals that were listening through different sets of speakers. I know it wasn't too bad on my end, but I know also too that SoundCloud, because of the degradation, will sometimes cause that sizzle to happen in the higher ends. But yet again, great song. Gilton Martinez, All I Have, Part 2. I'm curious to know what Part 1 is now. So real quickly, I want to make sure that I didn't miss anything in the chat. Okay. Good deal. If you have not subscribed, now would be a good time to do so. Hit that subscribe button and go ahead and click that bell icon so that you'll be updated every time I update, whatever that means. I'm going to go ahead and pause this just for a second. We're on song number 16 so that we can do something we have not done as of yet. And we are going to spin the wheel of awesomeness. That's right. For those of you that are new here, you're not sure what this is. What in the world are we doing? This, ladies and gentlemen, is the wheel of awesomeness. I spin the wheel, whatever it lands on, it dictates to us what action we will take. And it's a good way to break up the monotony, right? A favorite. Right on. All right, so far during this listen along, what has been your favorite? I guess I can't say that because we haven't listened to all of them. So what I'll say then is, what is your favorite reverb plugin? If you have a favorite reverb plugin that you use all of the time, definitely. Phil James, Part 1. Got it. Okay. Okay, so in the chat, if you could, just leave your favorite reverb there. The wheel has spoken. And then we're going to listen to Gilton Martinez, All That I Have, Part 2.
If I hold you in my prayers, I can make it anywhere. I can see my life fulfilled with all I need. All that I have, I give to you, Lord. My soul, my heart, I give forever. All that I have, I give to you, Lord. My soul, my heart, I give forever. Forever. I live my life not knowing what was wrong. There were times I could not see. What would I have done if I never found you to guide me, to make my life complete? If I hold you in my prayers, I can make it anywhere. I can see my life fulfilled with all I need. All that I have, I give to you, my Lord, my Lord. My soul, my heart, I give forever, forever. All that I have, I give to you, my Lord. My soul, my heart, I give forever. Forever, forever, forever. All that I have, I give to you, my Lord. My soul, my heart, I give forever, forever, forever. All that I have, I give to you, Lord. My soul, my heart, I give forever, forever, forever. All that I have, I give to you, Lord. My soul, my heart, I give forever.
Excellent, excellent submission, Gilton Martinez. That was great, man. I loved the vibe of that song. I do have some things that I want to critique to make it sound just a little bit better. Huge shout out to Warren Hewitt over here at Produce Like a Pro has just popped in the chat. Dude, you're awesome. He also so graciously submitted a video for the 5K celebration that we're going to have, which is going to be taking place August 1st. Such kind words that came from him. And yet again, if you guys want to submit a video, just a quick, like what your encapsulation of what the channel is about, and just a quick celebration, just a quick congratulations rather, feel free to do so. You can send those to homestudiosimplified@gmail.com. And we will definitely be celebrating that. And by the way, we are not quite to the end of the month yet. At the end of this month, the giveaway is still going on. I'm glad you popped in here. That reminded me, Warren. Anyone who signs up for a Produce Like a Pro membership during the month of July, there's a post on the Facebook page that if you post a screenshot or you send me a screenshot through my email that you have signed up and you're a new member, you'll be entered into a drawing for a nice set of Audio Technica tracking headphones, mixing headphones. So yeah, that's still going on. Not a lot of people know about it because I haven't really been staying on top of it as much as I was whenever we first started doing that. So go and sign up for the Produce Like a Pro Academy, and it's going to be like some of the best money that you've ever spent. I promise you. Some awesome people in there. Okay, so that was Gilton Martinez. Here's my quick encapsulation of what just happened. So the vocals definitely need a little bit more help. I think they were a little bit dry, and they seemed like they were kind of segregated from the rest of the mix, when in actuality, the way that I always picture vocals is like they should be married to the mix. They should be, thank you, Warren, I appreciate that. They should be really like not just setting on top. I know a lot of people say, I want upfront vocals. I want my vocals to set on top. And what they're asking is not so much that they want them to be upfront and present so much, but they want them to be blended well as be heard. So I think with this song in particular, that's where that was lacking. Those vocals, if you would have added a little bit of reverb, some delay, maybe some, I know Warren Hewitt is a big proponent of doing some vocal saturation, as well as he has several different tricks that he does to the vocals to get them to just, like I said, be married to the rest of the mix. The backing track was very nice. I loved the instrumentation. It seemed like it was balanced very well. The guitar, the background guitar, there was a little bit of timing issues on that, I heard. It was sort of this guitar stabs, like that bum, 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 bum. I heard that in the background. It was a little bit off time. It didn't completely throw me off of the mix, but it was enough to at least let me like pick up on it and be like, whoa, something's off. And also the background harmonies. I realized that you were harmonizing with yourself, and a lot of times that's very hard to do. But one way that you can help that to sound a little bit better is it sounded as if it was EQ'd and even panned in the exact same position that the lead vocals were. And one way that you can do that to separate that is just to pan them just ever so little a bit onto the left or the right side of the stereo field, and also to EQ them differently so that they don't sound quite the same as the lead vocals. I know a major thing that I always do is I dip out around 3,000 kilohertz, and it just not only does it alleviate the room for the lead vocal to set properly, but it also it pushes them back just enough to sound more like background vocals. So other than that, though, love the song, love the feel of it. Very, very cool song. So we're going to move on now to Jake JW, and this song is called One Last Time. Ooh, I like that guitar already.
You walked away. Now I'll never get to see or hear you calling out my name. Your face, your voice is just a memory. It's not the same. Something's different, but some things never change. It's not my day, and I never get my way. I've been waiting so long just to find you, and I'm not giving in. Saving a picture of your smile in case I never see it again. Long way, I know. Just let go, and I'll be fine one last time. You walked away. Now I'll never get to see or hear you calling out my name. Your face, your voice is just a memory. It's not the same. Something's different, but some things never change. It's not my day, and I never get my way. I've been waiting so long just to find you, and I'm not giving in. Saving a picture of your smile in case I never see it again. Long I'm not giving in.
Nice. Jake JW, man, you nailed it. I was getting ready to listen to it again. Man, even Warren just popped in the chat and said, you know, excellent production. The arrangement and the elements that you put in that just sold that song for me. When you got to that anthem part where, you know, you got the stomps and the claps, which is kind of big, especially right now. It not only made it sound more current, but it also just, dude, loved it. Absolutely loved it. So my critiques for this one was there was a little bit of some EQ issues, I think, in the lower mid range, probably like 250 to 500 hertz. There were some low mids there that I think could have been dealt with a little bit of EQ. It sounded as if there was not an incredibly amount being used, but there was some widening plugins being used. I could hear it, at least in my headphones. And it caused the bass to sort of disappear a little bit, caused that, the phasing of the bass to just, but also the background vocals seemed like they could have been brought up a little bit more, just to sort of give it that push and that guide. But really, man, the song in itself, instrumentation, the arrangement, dude, that's a good song. I could hear that on the radio all day long. So excellent work, man. So I went ahead and brought this up to just to sort of remind you guys that if you get in on it before the end of this month, if you go and you sign up for a new Produce Like a Pro Academy account, and like these wonderful people have done here, you just post a screenshot of your new sign up, you're going to be entered into a drawing to win a set of headphones. These headphones here, actually, the Audio-Technica headphones. And as you can see, your chances are pretty good right now. There's several people who have posted here. I think I have some more to add, actually. Yeah, here's a couple more. I think I've got some more through email that I need to add in here as well. So, but yeah, all of these individuals are entered into a drawing for these awesome Audio-Technica headphones. The deadline for that is the 30th of this month. So make sure that you go and you sign up. Like I said before, I'm not just saying that because Warren is here. I say this all the time when he's here or when he's not. It's the best money you'll ever spend, not just getting access to Warren himself, but to all of the awesome people that he has raised up within that community. So definitely go and do that. Post that screenshot below there, and you will be entered into that drawing. Actually, the deadline is the 31st. Sorry, I told you wrong. This is for U.S. residents only, by the way. I need to make sure that I mention that. But like I've already done with several here in the comment section, there was a couple. Let's see. Yeah, this fella right here. He was like, oh, it's for the U.S. only. If you're not in the U.S., go ahead and post it anyway. I'll send you a free course. So he actually got a free copy of my Compression Simplified course already. So that way I can offset those individuals who may not be in the U.S. But yeah, not to mention, I mean, when you sign up, there are so many perks. You get downloadable multi-tracks. You get access to Warren from Feedback Fridays, where he does something similar to what we're doing right here. He also just provides so much value within the chats, and just go do it. You'll thank me later. Okay, so that was Jake JW. Definitely got to reach out to this guy. I want to know what he's doing, where he's at. I want to get a hold of him. The next one is John Markstrom, and the song is called Running. Let's give this one a check out.
Something to happen or someone to come. It's time for me to live as I love. and I will never regret it. I'm leaving for good. I'm running away, you don't want me to stay. This is what I wanna do. I'm running away, I don't want you to stay. To weather new rendezvous on new tattoo. I'm running away, you don't want me to stay. This is what I wanna do. I'm running away, I don't want you to stay. To weather new rendezvous on new tattoo.
Wow, very upbeat, very cool. Had a very punk rock sort of sound to it. I liked it. The only things that I could have heard is, yet again, sounds like there was a widening plugin being used, just simply because the bass was there, but it wasn't as punchy as what it could have been. And usually when that happens, that's because there has been a widening plugin implemented. It's either that, or in some cases, some people actually put reverb on the bass. It's stylistically, it's something you can do. I'm not saying that like there's hardly ever any things that you shouldn't do. There's the obvious, like don't clip your digital converters and stuff like that. But awesome. Warren, thank you so much, buddy, for stopping by. Love you, man. So with that being said, the vocals were a little bit buried. Of course, there was a lot of instrumentation going on there. I would have loved to have had a driving bass line really driving that song too, though. But by and large, man, this good production, very upbeat, very fast, got right to the point, 2 minutes and 39 seconds. I mean, that's pretty much a radio ready, song length as well. So great job, man. Johan Mark, I think I called him John earlier. Sorry about that. I think it's Johan Markstrom, has another submission. This one's called Tell Me the Lesson.
I'm made of silver, not of gold, making up lies. What I've been told, I can't be first or the last. I fear the future, and not to perish, and
Wow. Okay. A little bit different than the running song, but different in a good way. Um, like the instrumentation yet again. With this one here, though, it was the panning on the guitars needed to be a little bit more. I heard a lot of guitars in the background, but I couldn't necessarily hear them for them being buried underneath everything. So some EQ on those a little bit differently and some panning to give them a little bit of space of their own. Also, the vocals, as upfront as they were this time, they sounded a lot better. They could have used some reverb to just kind of help them to stand out a little bit better. Not overly done, because I realized this genre of music didn't really call for that. But there was a lot of instrumentation that I feel like was stepping on one another. And in cases like this, you really have to ask yourself, like, what's the instrument that needs to be up front, and what else do I just need to kind of like push to the back and let it be a supporting element? Whereas in this mix, it seemed like everything was trying to be the lead. So just real quickly, some of my, what I ascertained from that. Now we're going to listen to Keith Lane's Just One Plugin. Nice. Very, very good work, Keith. Given the fact that he told me the limitations that he placed upon himself, he was away from the studio, so he took his laptop and literally only used one plugin to make this. Very, very cool. Given your limitations, I think you did an excellent job. The song was definitely driving. It definitely created an element of emotion, which is cool. You know how much I love that. By and large, man, the only thing that I would probably critique about this one is just a little bit of the EQing. It could have been EQ'd in the low mids, probably needed to be scooped out just a bit. I would have brought up the bass a little bit more to really make that drive home. And then maybe some painting on some of those synthy sounds just to kind of get them to really mess with your head. But other than that, for you kind of just throwing this together, I think it's really cool too that you forced yourself to work with those limitations. Every once in a while, when you guys get into a rut and you feel like, you know, it's kind of like writer's block. When you get into that rut and you have that block, do something like Keith has done here and just force yourself to use only one plug-in or mix somewhere completely differently. Like take your laptop with you and mix something out in the woods. Just like create some limitation or do something completely different, and it'll break you out of that rut. So unfortunately, guys, we have been streaming. Not unfortunately, we've been streaming, but unfortunately, the time has gotten away from me. I've been on here for 2.5 hours now. It's definitely going to be hard to pick a winner. So we're going to go ahead and stop it today on Keith's submission, and tomorrow we will pick it up from Keith's submission. So we'll start on number 21 and we'll go through 38. So tomorrow, same bat time, same bat channel. Be expecting that. We will tune in here tomorrow to listen to the rest of these submissions. And to those of you who have submitted, though, man, so much talent has been involved in all of this. You guys are just awesome. Keep up the good work. And I really think that the community that we're creating here around this music is ready to flourish. And I think we've got some individuals that are jumping on board that, wow. Okay, so one last time before we go, we are going to spin the wheel of awesomeness one more time just because we can. So let's go ahead and spin that wheel on the way out of here. And here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, it has landed on trivia. Okay. All right, so we are going to ask you a little bit of trivia real quick, and then what you're going to do is just in the chat section here real quick, let's see if you guys can have an answer. So the music trivia for today is going to be, oh, that one's too easy. Hold on. Okay, here we go. No, I've already asked that one. Okay, this one should be pretty easy, but we'll see if you guys can get it because... Okay. What singer holds the world record for the most words in a hit single? Okay. For some reason, this isn't showing up here. My chat is not showing up. It's weird. Okay, we got some coming in. Shaggy. Okay. Keith Lane says Shaggy. Bare Naked Ladies. Nope, still not correct. All right. Scatman. Nope. These are all some great guesses, though. While we're waiting on some more of those to come in, we're going to go ahead and give some shout outs real quickly to those individuals who have recently subscribed. Thank you guys so much for subscribing to the channel. You guys are awesome. Appreciate you for finding enough value in my channel to subscribe to me, especially when there are so many other channels out there that are doing this. Thank you guys so much for that. All right, so the answer to today's trivia is Eminem. The Detroit rapper achieved a world record with the song Rap God. The 6-minute track contains 1,560 words, which means that Eminem is rapping a tongue-twisting 4.28 words per second. And here are all of the notes for the mixed critiques today. I have killed trees. All right. Well, guys, thank you so much for stopping by the channel today. Had a blast as usual. We always have a good time whenever we do these. Thank you so much for your support, not just of myself, but also of those who have submitted songs. And be sure to tune in tomorrow at 2 p.m. as well. That's 2 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. And we'll go through the rest of them. So until next time, guys, thank you all so much. Remember that this channel exists to simplify the complexities of the home studio and to help you make professional sounding music in a less than professional space. We can dream alone. We can create alone. But together, we can achieve so much more. Thank you guys so much.